So hello again. So now I'd like to go a little bit further into the new features of the curve tool. Let's go select the curve tool right here. And as you recall, we can use the curve tool to create, well, big surprise here. We can create curves and let's see, let's go and close this one. That would be this one here, right? And we can grab the existing points, or we can add to them somewhere in the middle of, away from any existing points. We can go and add more points. All right, so let's say we want to now turn this into an alpha channel, a selection mask essentially. We've always been able with the curve tool to do this right there. Right? Click this and fill this curve into drawing into the alpha channel. Now, what's new with this is that when I do that, it gives me first a menu where I can indicate whether I want to replace this into the alpha channel. So if I have any other selections prior to this, it will go away and this will replace it with the new one. Let's do that. So now you see the marching ants right there, and we can go to the selection mask and store this alpha mask, and we can see that there it is. There's the alpha selection mask in the alpha channel. Now, what's new about this version 7.1 is that we can actually do this again, and we can add or subtract to it. Now, we won't do that with the same shape. We'll typically use a different shape. So maybe we'll clear the existing shape, right? Start over with a new curve, but we'll leave this selection in there, and maybe we'll need to have some eyes there. So let's go something like this, something like that, right? And we'd like to subtract it from this selection. Basically, we have currently the selection shows in white the head of our monster here, and we need the eye to be cut out, and that's done with a subtraction. So we can do that right here and say subtract from there, right? So now if we go and grab this, if we go and get the alpha right there, we can see indeed that the eye is no longer selected. The selection now has the head without the eye and without the background. So that's one thing. Maybe we need to have little antennas in the back there too. So let's do one more time. This time we'll do an addition to the selection. So we'll go and create a tiny little antenna system going around there, and we'll need to do a little bit of corrective things here. Adjust this, move these points around. We might need to delete one of these 2 points, or we can just arrange them like this. So we have a little antenna here that we want to add now, right? This one we want to add to the existing selection. Well, once again, if we go here and click on fill the curve drawing into the alpha channel, we have one more option, which is to add. And so now we have, if we clear the curves, we can see that we have a combined selection mask. Let's grab it right there. And there you go. So you see we were able to subtract or cut out a hole for the eye and add an antenna later on. And so that's a nice new feature because it allows you to create very sophisticated, very complex shapes, very complex selections. And selection masks can be very powerful to begin with. Because, once you've done this, you can obviously do things like filling it, or doing there's a couple of post effects there like drop shadow or embossing it by alpha or something like that. But even just doing a selection, a fill, using the fill tool, maybe the fill saying going with a vertical gradient, and let's go and select one of those gradients. Let's go grab this one here, right? And then you fill it. It will do that now into this selection mask that we have created in a couple of steps. Alright, so that's one new feature, is the more advanced selection masks that you can create with the new tool, the curve tool. We're not quite done yet here. Let's do also something else now that we have this outline. Maybe we'll need to do a little bit of sort of a border creation around it. And since we don't have the curves anymore, one other way we can use this is to first of all grab this, so we have a copy here, and then expand it so that we can grow it to the outside. Let's go to the selection mask and say something like grow alpha, right? So the alpha now will grow by 5 pixels, and you can see here that it's grown to the outside of the antenna, outside of the head, to the inside of the eye, same thing. And we can store that one too. We can go to the selection mask and store this alpha to compare the two. And so we have one here before growing, and then this one here after the grow, and we can see that the antenna is quite a bit thicker. Now, one thing we can do is we can take this one as the basis, that's the one that's currently loaded, and then we can subtract this one which will allow us to basically see what's not common to the two, basically see just the difference between the two, right? So we can subtract this one, and we now have, if we grab a copy of that one, if we store this alpha, we now have just the outlines, kind of a thick outline of 5 pixel extension. And so that's exactly what I was looking for, because now I can go and perhaps fill that to black. Let's go to clear the selected to black, and there you go. And we can go and clear the selection. That's a Control-D shortcut, very common in many other programs too. Clear alpha, and there you go. Now, one more thing that's also new in this version, I believe, at least that's the first time I've seen it, is the filter transform. Well, the shift is not new, but one thing that is new is that you can shift it across the animation. Now, in this case, that's not really meaningful because we don't have an animation, it's just a single image. We'll just grab the hand and move this thing down a little bit and call it a day.